Today, we're diving into Chapter 4 of Power and Society, an Introductions to the Social Sciences by Brigid Callahan Harrison. The chapter is titled Power and Culture, an Anthropologist's View, and it explores how culture and power are deeply connected in shaping human society.
To begin, let's talk about culture itself. Anthropologists define culture as the shared belief, values, norms, symbols, and practices that guide how people live together. Culture isn't just art, music, or food. It's the entire system of meaning that gives people a sense of identity and belonging. What makes culture powerful is that it tells you what is normal, what is right, and even what is possible. It provides rules for everyday behavior, but often in ways we don't even notice. For example, the way we greet someone, or ideas about family, or even what we consider polite, all of this come from cultural norms.
Now here's the key point. Culture is never neutral. It can be used as a tool of power. Those who can control cultural symbols often shape how society thinks and behaves. For instance, think about language. The words we can use reinforce authority, respect, or even inequality. Similarly, religion, tradition, and rituals often legitimize power. Leaders may present themselves as guardians of tradition to strengthen their authority. This shows us that power isn't always about governments or armies. It's also about ideas, beliefs, and the story we tell ourselves. In other words, culture provides the invisible rule of the game.
Anthropology brings a unique perspective here, unlike political scientists who often focus on states and institutions. Anthropologists study how operates in everyday life. They might look at kinds of system, village, culture, or even informal gathering to see how influence works. That's interesting is that anthropology reminds us that power exists in all societies, not only modern states, even in small tribal communication, there are hierarchical rules and mechanisms of control. This helps us to see how something universe but expressed in differently depending on a culture.
Part 4 is power, symbol, and rituals. Think about national flags, anthems, or even presidential inauguration. These are not just decorative traditions. They reinforce legitimacy and unity. Anthropologists argue that rituals work almost like a performance, reminding people of shared values and reinforcing the authority of leaders. On the other hand, culture can also be a space of resistance. When marginalized groups create an alternative symbol of reinterpret traditions, they challenge its dominant power. For example, social movements often use music, art, or collective rituals to inspire change.
Culture is not fixed, it evolves. When societies face modernization, globalization, or contact with other cultures, power dynamic often shifts. Sometimes change is smooth, but often it creates tension. Anthropologists note that those in power usually try to control cultural change. For example, governments might regulate media or even dress codes to preserve their authority. But people also resist, and that's where the new cultural forms emerge. So the struggle over culture is also the struggle over power.
Why we should care about this connection between power and culture? Because it helps us see the hidden forces that shape our lives. Power isn't only in politics or economics, it's in our language, our traditions, and our everyday practices. By understanding culture anthropologically, we can better see how inequality is maintained, how authority is justified, and how people find ways to resist. It reminds us that society is not just governed by laws but also by meanings.
To sum up, culture is a shared system of many that shapes how we live. Power operates through culture using symbols, rituals, and norms. Anthropology reveals how power is present in all societies, not only in government. Culture can both reinforce, alter, and prove those for sense. So, chapter 4 invites us for rethink power not only as something political, but as something cultural woven into the every fabric of everyday life. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.